All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Aligned, Liberated, and Abundant. I am your host, Dr. Toya Davis, and I'm happy to have you join us. Today, we have a special guest, Coach Shiki Chandler, who is the founder of Manifest More Inc. But before we start talking to her, and I'll tell you a little bit about who she is, I just want to make sure that you're in the right place. So, here at Aligned, Liberated, and Abundant, we hop on and we talk about things that high achieving women who have done all of the things. You've made the money, you have the job title, you have the degree, you've done everything that everybody told you that you were supposed to do, and yet you feel like there is something more. So, here we talk about tips, tools, and ways that we can close that gap between where you are and getting you to a life of alignment, liberation, and abundance. Coach Shiki is a lifestyle wellness strategist and manifestation consultant. And she has helped hundreds of people, both in the US and internationally, really worldwide, improve their mindset, attract more of what they want, and begin the process of creating a better feeling life. She enjoys helping her clients and customers get results that they are proud of. And so I will let her kind of tell you who she is, what she does, what's at the top of her mind today, because she has many, many, many skills and talents. So I will let her tell us what she wants us to know about her.
Well, again, thank you so much for having me. And the things to know about me. Yes, I wear many hats, many gifts, talents, interests. Um, in addition to being a manifestation coach, first, I am a creative woman, which all of us are. And I allow myself to lean into my creativity to create the desires of my heart. That's the first thing. That's what we're all up to. And that's the basic motivation and reason why I show up every day in the spaces that I show up in. Some of the spaces that I end up showing up in is one of the hats that I wear is I am a health and wellness coach. And I've done that for 10 years. As a result of doing that work for, well, over 10 years, as a result of doing that work for over 10 years, I have been in that space in total for 20 years. And so in that time, um, gained a great deal of insight and wisdom. And as a result of doing that work, I have a tea company. So I am a tea maker. And in addition to that, I also do some consulting because in my journey of creating businesses and also being in corporate, but in creating business and having two business degrees, one of the things I understand is that sometimes we need help laying a strong foundation to create profitable businesses that are aligned with who we are. And so I do some business consulting, and I do that through Thrive Now Consulting Group. I've been able to help large businesses as well as small businesses to establish themselves, grow, and scale. And so that's one of my ventures. And then my passion is manifestation. So Manifest More INC is my passion business. I love everything about it. And this is also something that I have been dedicated to, a student of, and committed to for at this point nearly 15 years. And after doing that and studying under many gurus and experts, including yourself, I have started to extend myself and helping other people to create the life that they create and live a life that they love.
Yes, thank you. So, y'all, what would it be if I brought people on the show who actually were not high achieving women, right? We like to hear from people who are actually doing the things that we say, right? Who are aligned with us. And I first met Coach Shiki. I think it's when I first met her, but this is when I like knew I needed to like be like, hey, you're my person. I was at a business, I think it was a business retreat. My memory, y'all, you know, my memory ain't that great. But I was at a business retreat And she was one of the speakers presenting. Was it Legacy Builders? Was that the name of it?
It was the Legacy Builders Retreat 2020, I think it was. Yes.
And I was like, she is great. I love her. Let me figure out what's happening. And then she put together a business coaching program. And so she really helped me when I first started with my business, She Essence, which was a product business. And so since then, I've been like, Nashiki, help me here. No, I'm showing up for everything, the health and wellness, the teas, the manifestation, the business. I've done it all from her. And so because of that, I really wanted to bring her in front of the community because I think that not only is she a wealth of information, but her energy, her spirit, and the authenticity with which she shows up and with which she gives is something that I think, within our community and our space, I would love for us to be able to kind of emulate. So, what I want to kind of dive into first is I love that you said this idea of that you're a creative person, right? And that you really lean into that, and that's kind of the passion that drives all of the other things. How does your creativity like spark some of these ventures, and like how do you marry this? I want to make money, I want to live in my passion, and I'm going to create space for my creativity.
How do I marry that? That's a really good question. I made a decision. I made a
Mm.
decision years ago that, and I leaned into the fact that I can create things that make me money.
Mm.
Many of the gifts, the talents, the interest that you have can be monetized. Also, because those are the things that you're naturally going to invest yourself in. So when it comes to the health and wellness, I often say I've been in this space for 20 years. Well, what happened was I ended up, I was always curious about it, even as a child. It was always there as a child. I remember, you know, just making up like recipes. I have a cousin, like one time I made up like this. It was the weirdest thing, but it was like celery and Thousand Island and, like some kind of lettuce. And I just always had a knack for, I want to be able to nourish my body well. Some of this that we are doing on a regular basis, you know, nutrition wise, I just within myself knew, there's something not quite for me here, right? So it
Mhm,
was always
mhm,
there. However, about 20 years ago, 2001, 2002, I had a health challenge. And in having that health challenge, um, I knew I didn't necessarily agree with what I was being told by the medical system at that time. And there was a
mhm,
part of me that just innately knew there has to be another way. And so when I started to lean into that and I started, you know, uh, doing my research first, and then I started meeting seasoned professionals and experts that say, oh, no, let me show you what to do. Let me show you how this goes. Here's the process. Here are the things that you should be doing. And then I started experiencing the result of that. I became a fanatic. So books, courses, workshops, trying out different products and all of that, I just became really committed to it, and it became um, a part of my regular life. You know,
mhm,
whereas
mhm.
some people may have been hanging out on weekends, I would be seeing when is the next wellness workshop so that I can attend, make connections, and see what the latest and greatest and newest thing that I wasn't aware of. And that became my passion. It became my hobby. Well, many of the things that I currently make money doing, all of the things that I currently make money doing, to some degree, there was this unwavering interest. And as a
Mm,
result of doing that, and it's natural, and I'm going to do it anyway because it's a part of who I am now, I was able to position myself to share that wisdom, that knowledge, and those skills or those products with other people. And so, but I made a decision that yes, I can make money helping someone else create their dream in a job, or
Mhm.
I can invest my time and my energy into leaning into the things that are natural for me and identifying ways to monetize those things. Does that answer your question?
Yes. And I think two important things or two important concepts for me come out of that, right? One is oftentimes people are feeling like I don't know what I'm supposed to do, right? I don't know my purpose, I don't know my path, I don't know this, there's this gap. And I often talk about, I feel what happens is the joy or the innate things that we enjoy are conditioned out of us,
Mm-hmm.
right? So people tell us, no, you're supposed to do this, or that thing that you like, making teas can't make you no money, right? So then we process that and we push it to the back and we actually forget those natural things that we were first attracted to, that we naturally had a passion for, and we push them to the side. And we do things that we think everybody else says are ways that we should make money. So I love that you are highlighting here that you're like, no, I made a choice that the things that I love and the things that I'm passionate about can also make me money, which is why you're a manifestation coach, right?
Yes, yes,
So tell us a little bit about what do you do? What is a manifestation coach? How do you do that?
yes. So in that work, oftentimes we need a healthy, healthy thought partner, a safe space to be able to first identify what we truly want and own it. Many of us are often conditioned into um, believing that there's always going to be a challenge or a limitation, or we're not ready yet, or we're not good enough, or we're not qualified for whatever the things are that we desire, which puts us in a state sometimes of feeling like it's far off, it's a daunting task, it's going to be hard, it might not be possible, or puts us in a state where we just don't fully own it. We don't fully show up and say, you know what, I want to be whoever that person is, right? And so,
Mm-hmm.
first, sometimes we need some support in actually getting to that space of ownership. Okay. Clarity is key. Knowing what you want, and identifying how it works for you in your life is important. How often are you having those type conversations? How often are you having those conversations and then expanding the vision and the thought process around it? That is what I bring to the table a lot of times in the coaching. Another thing that I bring to the table in the coaching is agreement, right? Agreement in yes, this is possible. And with that agreement, a plethora of resources, tools, and approaches to help you get there emotionally, spiritually, and also in your physical action. And that's what that's about. And oftentimes I will likely hold you gently accountable so that as you move through life, you don't give up or forget if that is still what you desire. Oftentimes our desires change, and that's perfectly okay. But we
Mm-hmm.
don't give up, we don't quit, or we don't uh, allow it to go dormant because we have not been able to identify how we can make it happen. We continue to do what is necessary to shift our mindset and our energy so that we move in the direction of it, and we continue to make steps and strides so that we can get closer to it and pull it into our reality with harmony. So that's what the coaching is about.
Yeah, so I think y'all and listeners, watchers, I say this all the time, right? I do not tell people to say the same things, but the reason that we all kind of have these same thoughts and we are all seeding, kind of these same concepts is because the reality is and is always going to be right? Your thinking literally creates your reality, right? So if you think you can, and if you think you can't, you're right. And what I love about Coach Shiki is because even as someone who does this work, right, and I be out here preaching, sometimes I be in my own way. And I will call or text, or she'll call and text, and like literally her ability to just kind of like shift you and drop you into a different mindset and space is gentle, gentle in like she's not forceful. She gets you where she needs you to be, but you don't feel like you were dragged or bulldozed to get there. Right, this idea of kind of still being in your own power and your own authority. But I appreciate, so to you, I appreciate, always kind of helping that little subtle shift. And it's not like a lot, it could just be like one phrase and it's like, oh yeah, I'm tripping, right? I done made my own limitation where there is none. So if you had to say for our listeners, what is a simple, because remember, we're all busy, everybody got lots of things that are happening. What is a simple practice or a simple activity that they can kind of incorporate in their day-to-day life to kind of get into this idea of identifying it, owning it, and then kind of making some actions toward it?
Okay.
And that
I need
might
to
have been multiple questions in there.
so, so there are two things that I need to say. So first, so daily action, I would say connect with it daily. Okay. Most of the time, if you've spent the time getting the clarity on what the happy end result is, that powerful, self-actualized version of yourself is, if you've gotten clear on what that would look like and feel like and sound like and move like and smell like and talk like and walk like, if you've gotten clarity on that, then it should be easy for you to revisit that, right? It can be a vision of walking on stage, right? Or
Mhm.
it can be a vision of celebrating being there. It can be a vision of waking up, realizing this is my life now. This is who I am now, right? Whatever helps you to connect with it. Try to do that every day if you can, because it's so easy to get distracted by the demands of life that you lose sight of it and you get away from it. And then you look up and weeks or months or even years have gone by
Yes.
and you just lost touch with it.
Yes.
So, and in that, the second thing that I'm going to recommend is at least once a month, sit down and map out that clarity of what that happy end result is. Sometimes we can get distracted or so engulfed in the doing. I got to build the funnel. I have to send the emails. I have to whatever the thing, make the phone calls. And that ends up being the dominant focus of how your time and your planning is um, focused. But what about that happy end result? It's easy to get caught up in the task and the doing and the things. But that clarity of the happy end result is so powerful that if you're able to hold that, a lot of the what things that you feel like you have to do in order to get there, you can be fast tracked.
Hmm.
Another
Hmm.
way will present itself. A more harmonious process can present itself because the primary energetic focus is the happy end result. So once a month, sit down, figure out if you don't have that, and map out for you, for who you are, for what makes your heart sing, for your strengths, for how you want your life to flow. What is the happy end result? And script that out, meaning write it out, or get a very clear and crisp vision of it within your mind. And that is your anchor. So that when you do the daily work, you have that bigger anchor that is the foundation of the daily work.
So I'm going to ask you something that might be, I don't know what the word is. I've been listening to, I really don't know who I was listening to, somebody on YouTube. And
Okay.
they were talking about, this idea of faith and trust, right? And it was in the manifestation world, but also this idea of like faith and trust. And if we are saying that we believe and we believe that the things are going to happen, then once we kind of put it out there in the world, so we mapped it out. I say, for example, let's just say I'm going to be an international speaker across many stages. That's my vision. That's going to happen. That it actually does a disservice to continue to go back to that idea. And I've been, like daily, and I've been like trying to figure out where that lives in my spirit, because I do kind of believe in the reaffirmation, right? The visualization of it and kind of seeing it through. But then I also am like, hmm, right? So what are your thoughts around that?
I have a few thoughts. The first one is one of the reasons why I want you to revisit it at least monthly is because you are changing and shifting. In all of the work that we're doing, it requires us to become a different version of ourselves. And so, my value system 5 years ago and 10 years ago, some things have shifted. Some things have remained the same and been solid anchors throughout time. But
Mhm.
as you grow, as you desire different things, as you acquire many of the things that you are calling forth or that you've chosen to manifest, sometimes your what you desire or how you desire it may change, right? And
Mhm.
so that monthly kind of re-anchoring allows you that space to say, you know what? For example, with me, I'm a hermit sometimes. I don't want to talk to people every day. I'm okay with that. 10 years ago, I wanted a full book. I wanted a full calendar,
Mhm.
right? Now, give me about 2 or 3 days. I do my thing. The other days are for me. They are for me. They are
Mhm.
for if
Mhm.
I want to spend more time in the park, if I want to spend more time programming things, if I want to learn something new, if I want to spend more time with people that I love, that's that time where there's I don't have to worry about my calendar being affected, right? So,
Mhm.
what you are going to desire is going to shift as you learn more, desire more, see what your true desires and preferences are, right? So, that's the first thing. Things may shift and change, and you have to revisit it to be honest with yourself so that you can create intentionally what you really want. Because all of
Mhm.
us have created something and said, ooh, mm,
Yes.
I
Yes.
did ask for that. However,
Yes.
can I change this part now? So
Yes.
that's one thing. And then I think the other thing with visiting it consistently, I can understand their concept because sometimes we may hold on to it or become obsessed about it. And
Mhm.
that energy, that vibration actually works against us because then we feel a lack or um,
Mm.
distance from it or
Mhm.
scarcity or challenge in or maybe even thinking, well, what am I doing wrong? Am I doing it right? Why hasn't it come yet? Is the universe listening? Do things line up for me as well as they line up for other people? So if you're in
Mm.
that obsessive mind and energy about it, then yes, that definitely can work against you. However, the way that I am proposing the idea, and I'm glad you asked that question so that I can speak to this, is when you are revisiting it every day, it's for you to try it on like you're trying on a dress that you want to wear to an event that you're excited to go to, right? So if you buy this amazing piece, this garment that you like, oh, I'm gonna kill them in this one. Oh, I'm gonna kill it when I put that. Oh, when I step, let me see how I'm gonna walk. That is the energy in which you're trying it on. Okay, that is the energy in which you're trying it on. You
Yes.
in that's where you're gonna see, you know what? I might need to put it off the shoulder a little bit. You know what? I might need to wear this. You know what? I should use this lipstick. You know what? I should arrive at this time. You know
Yes.
what? I
Yes.
should do this kind of heel. You know, I should walk. I should work on my walk. You know, I'm gonna tone up my arms. I'm gonna make sure my back is popping. That is that trying it on is what helps you to really get in the groove of it, and it makes the energy of it familiar to you. It makes
Mm,
the energy of it not so far out one day when if you trying it on, is this is what it is. This how it goes. So when it's time for you to actually experience it, it feels like the next right step. It was going to happen anyway. This is
mhm.
natural and normal for me. Sometimes we may call things forth and we manifest them, but because we haven't been connected with it, when it comes, you have like the deer in the headlight. It's like a jolt, and then you're like, "Oh
Yes.
shit! Now what I do? What
Yes.
do I do?"
Yes.
Or you're not able to hold on to the manifestation because you are vibrationally not fully in
Mhm.
alignment with it. And I think we've all experienced things like that as well. It's like it was
Yes.
here and then I lost it. Right.
Yes.
And that's because it wasn't fully um you weren't able to fully embody it and embrace it yet. It wasn't normal and natural for you yet. So when you're trying it on, it becomes normal and natural, and you perfected in that as well.
Yes, I love everything about that response. So thank you. I'm gonna be trying on my visions from now on, right? I'm gonna literally think about it that way. Trying it on. Do I need to show a little more shoulder?
Mhm.
I love that. So thank you. Yeah, yeah, I definitely love that. I want to just talk a little bit about kind of the health and wellness aspect because I think a lot of times, and today this is the perfect example. I was driving home. It was about 7:30, and I was like, "Gosh, I am starving," and I was like, "Why am I so hungry?" And I was like, "Wait, because you didn't eat today." Right. And so I think a lot like, and it literally was not a thought. Like the day just went by and things kept happening and I was trying to move and maneuver and I just got to the point where I didn't eat. And I think again for like a lot of the people in our audience, this idea of because we're trying to do so many things and be accountable to all of the things that we said we will be accountable to, right? We tend to put our health and our own personal wellness kind of on the back burner. But we know that that is just as important, right? So can you just give us a little bit of conversation around kind of the health and wellness idea?
Mhm. So, one of the things that I like to stress and focus on is lifestyle wellness. And what I mean by that is how can you taking care of yourself be a regular, natural, and normal part of your everyday lifestyle so that it's not, um, it doesn't put you in a place where you have to choose one or the other. Sometimes I see people or I talk to clients, especially high achieving men and women, many of them have gone through seasons where they were creating or building, where they felt like it was one or the other.
Mm,
They consciously knew they were sacrificing their health because they felt like that was what they had to do. We live in a culture, many of us, where the sacrifice is glorified. And in that sacrifice being glorified, you do go all day without eating. Or you do say, I know that my body is telling me that it needs something, but I'm going to just push through
mhm.
without factoring in the consequences of that. These bodies are amazing and they are also forgiving, and when you get to a place where it starts to scream, you have to listen. So, in lifestyle wellness, what I tell people is to understand what your goals are. Okay. And then look at your life and see how on a regular and consistent basis, you can support that. Sometimes supporting that may mean you need help. Sometimes supporting that may mean you set aside time to say no to everyone else so that you can say yes to yourself.
Mhm.
So, one of the things that I like to do is I like to make sure that I have things prepared on hand and easily accessible so that when I'm in those busy stages, I can grab a green drink and drink it. Or it takes me about 10 minutes to make it, right? So
Mhm.
I can do that and make it, and I can have that as a nourishment to my body. I also have explored my environment of where I live fairly well. So I know when it comes to food, the places that are within a 10-mile radius that have the type of foods that work well for my body. So,
Mhm.
worst case scenario, I can order it. I also like to, ideally, on a good week, spend on Mondays, because Mondays are normally my days for me. Spend Mondays prepping out meals, prepping out tea, prepping out juices and shakes for the day. I might not actually make the shake, but I may prep them in a jar, prep the ingredients, the dried ingredients in the jar. And then the only work is pour whatever the liquid is, pour the dry
Mhm.
ingredients, blend it up, and I move on, move on. The only challenge is somebody has to wash those dishes. Guess what? I have nieces that think it's cool to wash the dishes. I have nieces that think it's cool to make the juices for me, right? So
Mhm.
that's where you
Mhm.
may have to get some help. But if you don't have that, then set aside time again so that you can say yes to you, so that you can say yes to you, and you may have to say no to other people. And I think as a community of women of color, one of the things that I remember happening growing up is I remember women cooking together, not just Thanksgiving. I remember sometimes people would be cooking together, or I remember my friends, they would be cooking with their moms on Sundays. I
Mhm.
believe that we should start a culture where, even if it's on Zoom, where we catch up with each other on Zoom, or somebody comes over to the other person's house and we kitchen buddies. We know what we need for the week to help fortify ourselves. And we just make sure that we do that while we catch up, while we talk, while we listen to music and dance with the music, so that we are set up and we're fortified for success for the week. I love a good, sisterhood hangout just as everybody else. But we're just in the season, especially when you're a progressive person, where that time
Mhm.
needs to be intentional. So instead of it being a dinner at the latest restaurant, or a time at a hookah bar or a lounge or whatever, even a yoga class, let's get in the kitchen and
Mhm.
and get ready to make sure that we're fortified for the week. So those are my
I
thoughts.
I love that. I love that as an idea. And I think I might try to see how I can make that happen. One, because my friend group and I, we haven't even connected. Like we
Mm,
have our little lovely WhatsApp group chat, and the day somebody put something in there and it was like, oh, okay, right. And so we've tried to come together in physical space, but the timing just hasn't worked out because everybody
mm,
has kids. We're all trying to get ready for the week. But if we can bring those things together,
mhm,
I love it, right? And it brings support.
mhm.
So we are getting at our time. Before we head off, just a few things, everybody. So, Coach Shiki, sorry, everybody.
No worries.
um, Coach Shiki will be kind of in the community here, so we may see her at different points and at different ventures. If you were at the manifestation conference that I had a few years back, she came and talked about the moon and using the moon to manifest. We had the Aligned, Liberated, and Abundant conference that I postponed, and so she will be back as a guest, although she didn't tell me that she'll be back yet. So I'm assuming that she will be back as a guest for that. And also within some other things that I have. So if you are feeling drawn to her, one, you will be able to kind of find some additional touch points within the Chi community, but also she is going to let you know how you can get in touch with her. She has a lot of wonderful things and programs that she does consistently. And so if you're interested, please feel free to reach out. So let them know what you have happening and where they can find you.
Yes. So, if you're interested in the health and wellness work that I do, the best places to find me. Number one is thrivenowwellness.com. That's the best place. And then the second best place is the Facebook group, which is Thrive Now Wellness with Coach Chandler. So I'm most active in that group. If you have a question, that's where you should go. If I'm going to run a challenge, if I'm going to run a program, if I have some wisdom to share, if there is something happening that everybody needs to know about regarding health and wellness that I say, oh, I got to get this out, that is going to happen in that group. So that's the best place to reach me for wellness. When it comes to the manifestation work that I do with people, the best place to reach me with that is I want to make sure that I have the right name of the group.
Yeah.
I think the name of the group is Manifest More, but I'm going to confirm that really quickly. That's the
Yeah.
best place to reach me. Because in that group, if I'm going to do an event, which we just came off of the Good Vibes Retreat, if I'm going to do a challenge, if I'm going to do a program, if I am going to do a ritual, every month I do a free scripting party. We just did that today. Every month I do a free scripting event for anybody that wants to join. So I'm most active in there. I do a lot of education in there as well. So the name of that group is Manifestation Checks and More. Manifestation Checks and More. That's the current name of that group. And that's the best place regarding manifestation to reach me. And then I'm always available on in the inbox in Facebook, and I'm available also on Instagram.
Yes, and all of these will be, all of the links and the groups will be in the chat and in the comments. So feel free to go and check us out there. So last question before we go. So this is again the Aligned, Liberated, and Abundant show. If you had to give your definition of what alignment meant to you, what would that be?
That's a really good question. So, if I had to give my definition of what alignment meant to me, I would say being in constant communication with the source that you believe in. That's the first thing. So that whatever the downloads are, you're getting those. And also when you need to upload, meaning you communicate up, hey, listen, this is what's happening. What are we doing here? So that muscle is strong and that you're honoring it in your actions and in how you move through the world. So that would be number one. And then number two, being in alignment would mean clarity, making sure that you have clarity around who you are and what you're truly up to for your peace, harmony, happiness, and joy. Those are the things that I would say.
Yes, I love that. So thank you so much, Coach Shiki, for joining us today. And for everybody, if you are watching, go ahead and like and subscribe. If you are listening, I think you like when you're listening, download whatever platform you're on, do something to let me know that you're there. I really appreciate it. So until next time, remember you deserve to live a life that lights you up from the inside out. Stay aligned, liberated, and abundant.